The agent never expected to be ambushed by his trusted partner. At this moment, Nick surprisingly opened his eyes again, but everything around him had frozen. Even the birds in the sky had frozen. This left Nick feeling very confused. He turned around and found a huge vortex above his head. Before he could react, his body started flying uncontrollably. Then he was sucked into the vortex. At this moment, he noticed countless figures being sucked into a giant light. As he was being pulled toward the white light, Nick had no time to react.
Tough day.
Nick learned from the other person that he was already dead. At that moment, he was in the Underworld. Originally, Nick's sins should have been severely judged, but the Underworld noticed his abilities, so they gave him a chance. They let Nick choose. Nick didn't hesitate and chose to become an Underworld police officer. The chief was pleased and gave Nick the Underworld police badge. Then the chief began to show him around the police station. Here, all the evil spirits were locked up. The job of an Underworld police officer is to go to the human world and capture these evil spirits. At this point, Nick saw an evil spirit who had knocked out the guards next to him. It looked like he was about to escape. The chief quickly introduced the man as Roy. He was Nick's partner. Roy strongly resisted having Nick as his new partner, but he had to accept reality according to the rules. However, it was clear that gaining Roy's approval wouldn't happen overnight. Next, Roy took Nick into a bathroom. It turned out that this was the passage between the two worlds. Roy was about to show Nick everything in the human world, because today was Nick's funeral. Nick watched his wife mourn in front of him, while the murderer who killed him was comforting her. This made Nick furious. He angrily approached his wife, but his wife didn't recognize him. Even the murderer who killed Nick treated him like a stranger.